Let's be real for a second. The world of health advice is, well, it's a lot, isn't it? One day you're hearing about biohacking gadgets that promise to change your life, and the next, you're being told you should only eat meat, or maybe only plants. It's just so noisy, so confusing, and honestly, it can be pretty darn exhausting.
So if you're feeling that information overload, trust me, you are not alone. But today, we're going to try and cut right through all that noise. We're going to explore the simple, powerful principles of Barbara O'Neill, a natural health educator who some people affectionately call the grandmother of the world because of her incredibly simple, back-to-basics approach. And this quote from human biologist Gary Brecka just hits the nail on the head. After looking at tons and tons of data on what makes people live long, healthy lives, you know what he found? It's not the fancy new supplement or some complicated protocol. Nope. True, lasting health comes from getting the fundamentals right.
All right, Section 1, back to health basics. So what is this core philosophy? Well, at its very heart, Barbara O'Neill's message is all about trusting the incredible built-in ability of your own body to heal itself. It's this amazing system that's literally designed for resilience if we just give it a fighting chance.
Now, a huge part of the problem, according to her, is that we've just stopped listening. Seriously, think about it. Little signals like bloating or constipation or that constant stuffy nose, they aren't just random annoyances. That's your body trying to talk to you, trying to tell you that something's not quite right. So the very first step is just learning to tune back in.
Okay, Section 2, the foundation. Your gut is a garden. If there's one thing O'Neill puts at the absolute center of our health, it's the gut. She has this beautiful way of looking at it, not as just a part of our digestive system, but as a thriving inner garden that we have to carefully look after.
And the influence of this garden? It is staggering. It's estimated that 70% of our entire immune system is right there in our gut. 70%! I mean, that's not a minor player in the game. That's basically the command center for your body's entire defense force.
I absolutely love this quote because it just completely flips how we think about eating. There's a middleman, you see, between the food on your plate and your body. You're not just feeding you, you're feeding the trillions of little microbes in your gut, and in return, they break down that food and give you all the good stuff you need. So how do we take care of this garden? Well, it comes down to two key things: probiotics and prebiotics. Think of it this way. Probiotics are the beneficial bacteria themselves. They're like the seeds for your garden. You find them in fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut. And prebiotics? That's the fiber from all sorts of plant foods. That's the fertilizer that helps all those good seeds grow and flourish. Let's move on to Section 3, the guardian, strengthening your immune system. So it makes sense, right? A healthy, thriving gut garden directly supports your body's #1 guardian. When your gut is happy, your immune system has the strong foundation it needs to be sharp, balanced, and ready for anything.
So the big question is, how do we actually do that? Beyond just focusing on the gut, what are the real practical pillars for building up a powerful immune response?
O'Neill really boils it down to 4 simple but super powerful habits. First, just drinking enough water. Second, getting to bed early. She calls the hours before midnight the healing hours. Third, nourishing your body with real whole foods. And fourth, using something called hormetic stress. That's a fancy term for a short, beneficial shock to the system, like a cold plunge, to really wake up your immune system. She also asks us to completely change how we think about getting sick. A fever, for instance, isn't something we should immediately fear and try to crush. It's actually your body's brilliant defense mechanism. It's raising the temperature to create a hostile environment for germs, and in the process, gives your own immune system a massive boost.
Now, when she looks at historical health data, O'Neill points to information from medical journals that, in her reading of it, suggests that many infectious diseases were already declining pretty sharply before certain vaccines were widely introduced.
Her interpretation of that data is that the real heroes in that story were some major public health improvements. You know, things like Florence Nightingale pushing for basic hygiene in hospitals, the creation of modern sanitation systems for clean water, and just overall better nutrition for everyone. All right, Section 4, the toolkit, listening and eliminating. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about how you can apply these ideas, and it starts with the most important skill of all, just listening to your body.
This, right here, is the absolute heart of her message. She wants people to become detectives for their own bodies, because at the end of the day, you are the world's leading expert on you. No doctor,
No test can replace the wisdom you gain just by paying close attention.
So what does listening actually look like? Well, it's about connecting the dots. For example, if you have chronic congestion, sinus problems, or that annoying postnasal drip, O'Neill would say that's not random. Your body is creating all that extra mucus for a reason, and it's often a reaction to something that's irritating it.
And here are the 5 main usual suspects she suggests you investigate. If you're dealing with those kinds of inflammatory signals, she recommends trying an elimination of dairy, modern wheat, oats, peanuts, and, of course, refined sugar, just to see what happens, just to see how your body responds when they're gone.
Now, besides taking out the bad stuff, O'Neill is a huge fan of adding in a beneficial stressor, the cold plunge. That quick, intentional shock is designed to kick your body's internal machinery into high gear, especially your immune system.
And this quote from Gary Brecka just captures that feeling perfectly. It's more than just a physical challenge, it creates this incredible physiological response. He calls it his drug of choice because of that amazing surge of energy and mental clarity you get when your body's survival systems all light up at once.
Okay, let's bring this all home. Section 5, your body's blueprint for healing. When you pull all these ideas together, what you have is this really empowering blueprint. It's a huge shift from looking for cures outside of yourself to instead creating the right environment inside yourself for health to happen naturally.
And this right here is the fundamental belief that holds everything else up. It's an unwavering faith in our body's design. It's this idea that we aren't these fragile machines that are constantly breaking down, but that we're resilient organisms that were literally created with the ability to heal.
So the big takeaway is simply this. Getting healthy doesn't have to be this incredibly complicated thing. By just focusing on the absolute basics, going to bed early, drinking your water, eating real food, moving a little, and truly listening to your body's signals, you can give it the tools it already knows how to use. Look, this isn't about changing your entire life overnight. That's not realistic. It's about taking small, consistent steps. So, as we finish up here, just ask yourself, out of all these simple, fundamental things, what is the one basic you could start with today?